Hey guys, Master Xeon here. In today's video, we're going to be putting some clothes on this girl. So it's just you, me, and her. Now in render view, it doesn't look too bad. You see I create a little blender crest in the center. I'm still working on it. I'm trying to make something epic for my characters to stand on. And that way, I can present them in a manner that says that they're made in Blender. Besides the fact that, of course, the logo will be on their apparel or whatever, but you know, this is what we're starting out with. So let's get to business. Alright, so on layer 2, I actually have a low poly simplified version that I can animate. There's a couple of animations here. Um, nothing fancy. I'm still in the process of working on, becoming a good animator, but, here's a couple of me just goofing off. That one's nothing. Oh yeah, and the freaky walk, of course. And these are kind of built to be looped in LA, and this is nothing. So like I said, nothing fancy. Um, I was just goofing off with it just to test deformation and whatnot. So you don't want this model. It's not ready. Even the weight painting's not ready. Alright, so I also put bra and panties because, can't be looking at naked people. I mean, we can, it's just geometry. But just keep it clean. So I was on Google looking up a couple of outfits. Here's the first outfit we're going to take a look at here. I guess this like traditional Sailor Moon Japanese schoolgirl. In case you can't tell, I'm a pretty big fan of the whole anime culture. I watch quite a bit of it. So first thing we'll do is we'll press / take this in local mode, start display, save. And making clothes can actually be pretty quick, especially if you have decent geometry for the body. I mean, look, humor ourselves and make a shirt real quick. And still the weight painting of this. So it's like, what is connecting it? Actually, in face mode, you can press L and it'll select the pieces. So we just duplicate, piece, separate, Shift H, hide all that. This is our starter shirt. Because, we're making simple stuff in this video. The next level after what you're seeing me do is, of course, sculpting, mapping, creating high resolution maps for it that show the details. So I'll start off, I'll Alt S and just scale it up slightly. I'll also just delete these faces, connect this face, put a loop up in this area. And I know I haven't done a lot of spoken videos lately. I figured y'all pretty much didn't care if it was a time lapse or me explaining it. But if y'all are a bigger fan of one format over the other, just let me know. If y'all want me to, STFU and model and not say anything, that's good as well. Especially because these videos are mainly aimed towards, intermediate users, which I guess is what I consider myself at this point. Um, delete all the mats. We'll give it a new one. We'll just call it a shirt 2. Move it to layer 3. So we're looking at layer 1, layer 3. And we're just going to change this color drop it here. We'll also copy the name and drop it here. So, you know, we want a little bit of play here. We can hide that for a minute. And I'm just using Alt S scale on normals. Like I said, I either use S or Alt S. Alt S, I think, gets me a more uniform scaling in where I want them to go, which is basically away from the surface or away from whatever it was formerly pointing at. So, you know, I always talk about Alt S. I was thinking about actually making a video earlier talking about um, some of the new features in Blender, especially the dynamic topology. But I want to practice my sculpting before, so I can make a Blender Nation worthy video, since I never get hosted. You know, maybe this low poly stuff's actually pretty good. Seem to be getting a lot of positive responses on that. So, you know, we're just modeling a anime style shirt. However, we're going to need to remove half of the whole thing. We'll put a mirror all the way at the top, because your modifier order matters for obvious reasons. If you're subsurfing before you're mirroring, then it's going to smooth it and shrink it, and it's not going to fit. So, you know, I'm not going to go in and explain that. This music's a little loud. Alright, and so there's our shirt so far. You know, we go to layer 3 by ourselves. We'll snap the cursor here so we can still its origin point and drop in a plane, bring up the T panel, change it to a line. If we just bring it out, cut it in half, and turn on clipping, then we have a plane that is by default right where the body is, because I plan on, you know, weight painting all this stuff individually to get it to fit right. But, you know, for shirts and stuff like that, some of the auto painting that you inherit just from cutting it off of the original mesh actually does pretty good work. But, you know, just keep in mind that you want a mask modifier to hide the stuff that you really just don't even care about having visible. Like, for example, once she's wearing this shirt, her body will have a mask that only exposes her face, hands, and legs, or whatever else is not covered in clothing. And that way I don't have to worry about penetrations and whatnot. I hope that came out clear. And so right here I'm just doing my favorite technique, which is retopology. I've checked into the retopology methods of a lot of applications, and in the end, since the first program I ever used was Blender and the first shortcuts I ever learned was GS and R, I would not be having to find any other program to do my retopology with, since, you know, this is pretty fast. You drop in a plane, still its origin point, and just start dropping things on. You start layering the stuff up, you get some pretty amazing results. But we'll pick this up, and this will certainly begin getting more interesting. We'll bring this down, bring this over. One of the things with snapping that drives me crazy is sometimes it will just pull the wrong faces on the other side of the mirror by defying logic, and I end up having to deactivate the mirror just to snap them back right. But, you know, maybe it might play right today. You know, another thing that's odd about Blender is sometimes, depending on which version, since I always go through the build bot every couple of days to update my version is that I believe Control M doesn't work sometimes. Right now it looks like it is, where I can just press Control M and then mirror on an axis if I wanted, which is pretty handy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does. Makes my day a lot better when it does. Turn off screw, not the wrong modifier. So from here, we're just adding solidify. Alright, if we click this button, it'll turn it off in edit mode so we can not have to deal with the final result while modeling. Another thing is when you apply to subsurf, people always click this to apply to Cajun editing mode. And after a while, I came to a conclusion that that view lies to me. In fact, it lies to me so bad that I end up with horrible looking meshes without it. So I actually try to model without subsurf until it just becomes necessary. And then from there, go ahead and apply it. Alright, so if we get out of this mode, she looks like she's about to help someone cross the street. So now for the skirt. Skirts are special because I like to start those off with a plane, bring it down, we'll put in 2 loops, split it out on the X. It goes without saying, I spent a lot of time practicing my techniques that y'all see me use in my videos, because, you see everybody make something. The first thing people do when they have a project is look up a tutorial on how to make something instead of, thinking about how to make it first, and then, musing with the ideas of the process involved, hoping that comes off making sense. Alright, so what I did here was I selected an edge ring of vertices right here. I duplicate it and then I pressed P to separate it. And so now I have this that I can just move to layer 3. And what is it? It is her waist. So with this I can just, let's just press Alt C and convert it to a curve. And now I have a curve perfectly in the shape of her waist. Now here's my favorite part of this whole activity that I call Where's Waldo, and it is locating the beginning. So over here under cyclic, if you check U, it'll toggle it between being open or closed. And so I actually found it really quick here. So I'm gonna snap my cursor here. You see these little these little arrows pointing forward, that tells you the direction. So by putting the 3D cursor there and then setting the origin to this 3D cursor, putting it back, now we'll just move this to 4. Now I can take a look at this. We'll put this origin here and then origin to 3D cursor. We'll snap it to here and then snap this to here. And now we have this little skirt ruffle going around. So even better is that I can now select this and choose curve to form. And that'll get me something. And I'll just rotate it. And now I have this adjustable skirt. But it doesn't finish. This part I have to actually resolve at the end. But, that's a little bit of curve info for you. And for this, I actually want a pretty dense skirt. So if I look at this and turn on show modifier in edit mode, now I see what I'm dealing with. And so I just want to raise this up till I'm right here. Since it's kept simple, I'll be able to just fill in these faces and it'll be fine. So that's about far enough, partner. However, this is a boring dress, or at least in my opinion it is. So we'll turn off array, turn off curve. We'll just look at this puppy in edit mode. You know, actually we'll try it the second way. So I found a couple of ways of doing what I was about to do that you don't know what I was going to do yet, but I'll just show you in a moment. So first thing we'll do, we'll apply this array, we'll apply this curve. We will select this edge and this edge, join them, roll our wheel to add some loop cuts. It feels good. It feels good adding those cuts. And now we have this beautifully unified skirt looking mesh. Problem though is that it doesn't look very much, well, it looks like a very, very long dress. Let's show some leg. And how does that look? She will get a tip from that. Alright, so the next thing is we'll put a loop cut here, select this series of vertices and add them to a group. Know that, you know, holding Alt lets you select a ring. That's, you know, Blender Day 2. And it looks like I'm going to have to go to Blender, Render. And we'll just go to Cloth, turn on Pinning, Group. Okay, can't be in edit mode. Go back to frame 1. Alright, things are wrong here. For one, there's a subsurf. Subsurf is the reason it's getting so slow. As in, Blender quit stop. Stop. There we go. Subsurf of 2. Yeah, I'll definitely run a little slow. And see, here we go now with a little bit more in it. However, we want to probably, under cloth collision, turn on self collision, maybe give it a quality of like 3. And we'll just let this fall down, you know. I'll turn away and add one more level of sub D just to really get some nice wrinkles in there. You know, for the bending, I think it's bending that gives you more small wrinkles. Actually, let's bake this on layer 1 with this girl. So she actually has a collision modifier on her because I've already done this whole thing testing it. That's very unbecoming a skirt. You know what would work better is go to layer 2, where this proxy dummy is. This thing doesn't have subdivision. And with good reason, because a proxy mesh shouldn't have it. Alright, you know something, you're not being very nice to me, skirt. Alright, so first thing we need to do is undo that. We probably don't need all of that. Alright, the next thing is we will scale it out like that. Maybe scale it out some more. You know, the cloth can be a little strange when it comes to that surface. In fact, we could go over here under this object, so I could just quit being lazy and actually set this up to have a third of what it had, and also to have a third of what it had there. So the effect that we're going for is real subtle. And we already pretty much accomplished it right here. So like I said, weight painting's the name of the game here when it comes to, moving this in the very end. So don't expect to see me using the cloth sim too much unless it's in a shot that's absolutely necessary. But it's easier to just weight paint it to work with the bone, or at least that's just my opinion on it. Alright, now looking back at the picture, this looks like something befitting a sailor. Alright, and that's a little bit better. You know what else is on this little outfit is a bow. How would you make a bow? When it comes to modeling, if you could see it, you should be able to make it once you, understand the technique behind acquiring, building what you see, basically. Um, so, right here I'm making a bow. So, guess I should connect these two faces. Loop cut. Never made a bow, by the way. Never made a bow before, by the way. All right. SC0. Oops. R90. Scale this in. Extrude up. Come out on the sides. Alright, like I said, never made a bow before. Bet it shows now, huh? No, we correct this pretty quick. Alright, you have to watch it with the snapping. Sometimes it'll get you. Alright, depends, I guess, on what kind of bow I want here. I want one of these kind of bows. Alright, we'll just delete this. We'll just delete this half. Snap the cursor here. Actually, it looks like its origin's already in the right place. Good. Except this isn't in the right order. And this is not connected. Alright, and if we hit a solidify, and maybe put it before it, I think that's an acceptable bow. See, at the end of the day, I just ask myself, does it look like a bow? Or I'll ask my girlfriend, does it look like a bow? See, with the bow, then it's a present underneath. I'm just jamming. right here I made a mistake. I was lost in thought for a moment. Sorry about that. Let's, you know, get this thing back in order. So it takes some real X vision to be able to see your right verts underneath here. And right here I'm just doing a quad with the inset so I can create this little area in the front. Alright, now I can scale this back on, so we'll just move this to 1 real quick. Excellent. And go up and bring it out. Alright, now to baby these verts. So, in a new update, Blender is about to have the ability to rotate the 3D view while using the circle select. If you guys know what that means, it's actually pretty awesome. Alright, that's getting annoying. Alright, how to deal with this, how to deal with this. I guess I could just shape it to fit. And then unselect those. Shape this to fit. Slide, slide, slide. In case you didn't know, GG now does the edge slide. Another victory for Blender in recent releases. It's really the small things that get me the little improvement. And that's why I subscribe to Adventures in Blender, because without him, I wouldn't know about every little improvement that's made to our software. We'll delete this edge loop, add one back. We'll may put one there. We see some penetration on her butt. Oh, it's panties. Maybe we should make it fit on top. We already got the proportional out. No, we don't. Alright, there we go. So it's easy, and all we got is, all we want is just these, complex wrinkles. So we move that back to 3, go back to 3. Alright. We take this, move it to 2, spend some time on 2 with it. And if we decided so much as to remove its collision, add a cloth, and just see what we get, we probably won't get anything. Okay, like I said, nothing. Alright, so we'll move this back to 3, and we won't apply any cloth on this. Or will we? Assign a new group. We will pin it by... Alright, so it inherited all of its weight groups. We can delete all vertex groups for now, and add another one. We'll pin it. And she retires this jersey. Alright, so doesn't look good is the moral of the story here. This doesn't have to be here. This doesn't have to be here. Actually, I'm may have been a little hasty with this one. Alright, so now we have this outfit. However, she probably needs some stylish stockings or something, so we will cut it all the way to here. L, D, means Shift D, duplicate, move this to layer 3. And from here, what we'll do is remove the mask, get rid of this collision, solidify, and we want it to be off the leg so that we can apply it. Come in here, hide that loop and that loop, and then save these faces. And if we mirror this, we have this design. Let's jump back over to cycles render just so we see colors. That's a horrible color. We'll make it that baby blue. Or actually make this create another material. We'll call this one fabric 2. I don't know why it got so out of order. Alright, on this one the color is white, so we'll remove that, make this one fabric 2. This will be fabric 3. And we'll just make it like I don't know, this color. And for this, we will actually link it to this material with Control L. For the legs, we could texture it a couple of ways. We could take it in Photoshop, which would take the time it takes to open Photoshop. So that one's not going to happen. And this is all about just the modeling. So the other way is to, of course, just paint the geometry like I'm doing. So I'm going to try to put stripes on this, but they're not really the right length and all of that. Add in fabric 1, add in fabric 2, assign. Alright, one thing I don't like is how thick her leggings are. There we go. Alright, and if we move this to layer 2 for now, since she's clothed, we can look at this first outfit, which right here on the sleeve, we want to bring in fabric 2 and fabric 3. And go ahead and just paint this blue, paint this middle one, this orange. For this, we'll modify the trim, bring in fabric 3, bring in fabric 2, and just make it a little unique. Like I said, we're not modeling the clothes per se, we're just, looking for inspiration. This one needs to be fabric 1. And see, I could even go so far as to go with fabric 1, and then on this, under the rim, I can make it where the rim is shaded the second material index, like on this. Now it's shaded after the first. This doesn't actually have a solidify, but for all the clothing, I like to put one just to give it the illusion of being two-sided. Alright, now her Planeteer sash, we will add another material index. This one will be red. And I think that one alone added some interest to it. We will unhide and take this one and this one, and then this one and this one, add in fabric 3, and there we go. So heels and shoes is the next things that I would probably be making for. But you know, another thing I noticed on the image that I don't have is in the middle, there's like a area that has like a logo on it. So as far as logos go, I can link in from my assets. I have a Blender logo file of an object that is what we know and love as the Blender logo. Alright, so first thing on this is to remove the cloth. And I guess bring open the animation editor, since the last thing this object did was animate. So the real question is, do I need that there? And should I put the Blender logo there? Let's see how that works out by just shift tabbing, turning on face projection. And the computer's going to choke, it's projecting everything. Alright, that logo is very dense. We will apply the desk. Actually, alright, so this thing has fluff. L, Control I, X, Alt H. Delete verts. And the next thing I guess is to decimate. We will unsubdivide. Let's see how much we're affecting it. Damn, that looks worse. Alright. I suppose I can live with that. Look at how much quicker it projected on. Alright, so I'll just apply a solidify, have it sticking out of the chest, put a subsurf on it, turn off wire, draw edges, Alt H, bring back objects hidden, and we'll just say that that's a decent little schoolgirl outfit. So we put them both together, go in render view, maybe rotate the head. I kind of like the models to look at the camera like, you are my creator, you know, that kind of look, you know. So hit render. And by reducing the bounces, I get to speed up a little bit more. There's no complexity on the materials, so we'll get to that. But for now, we're just testing out our idea here. Now for the shirt, I think it would be more fashionable if, that's interesting. I don't want it. Alright, for this material, we will assign it matte 2, surrounded by a trim of matte 3. And if we come back out and look at it again, we don't even see it. And that's because she is exposed. So if I turn on the mask, you actually see that the model is hidden except for the key components, which is how I usually run if I'm showing off an outfit, because penetration's bad. You show penetration with your mesh popping through and you've already lost them. Alright, so on the hide group, it's actually taking away more than it's supposed to. You know, I could do something about that, but just know that that would involve me going in, modifying the weight group. So that's just the Blender Schoolgirl outfit. So the next thing is a hoodie. So we'll select this one, Alt R, go back to 1, select the girl, turn off the mask, and now we have to make a hoodie. But a hoodie is easy to make. In fact, we will just do the same thing we did before, except now we're working on layer 4. What else is here? Oh, this thing. Alright, so hoodies. Let's take a look at a hoodie. And when it comes to Google Images, there's quite a few choices. This one, I don't think that's a real hoodie. It's like a drawing of a hoodie. Here we go. That's the look that we're going to go for. So starting out with this, first thing you want to do is, of course, delete this from the front. Alright, we'll get rid of the mask, get rid of the collision, turn on mirror, put it above everything. Good thing about the mirror modifier is it does allow our weight groups to translate over automatically with the, you know, .L, .R affixed to it in case you never noticed it whenever it comes to the rigging. Alright, so now alright, and we'll I don't think that's working the way it's supposed to. I don't know if I'm looking at some sort of glitch or what, but whenever I find weirdness in Blender, I usually just work around it or open the previous version. And look, this was all I was trying to do. In fact, this topology is getting on my nerves, so let's just fix it. We'll just knife up to the top, turn that try to a quad. And look, there we go. Now it's going in this direction. Turn off clipping. What the hell is going on with this thing? Alright, turn off X mirror or something. What is going on here? Sorry about this, guys. This is one of those weird Blender things that seems to only happen to me. Slide those over. Alright, it's like, where are these going when I select them and press X? So it's E, X, Y, Y, X. Oh god, that was a nightmare. This is still a nightmare. What is up with this merge distance? You know what, unless... See? What are these two doing? Why is this one not moving? You know, apply rotation. Delete all these damn vertex groups. Now we turn on merge at clipping. What happens to all the verts that go in the center? You know what, we're just going to delete that ring and continue with this. But I'm not ending this video without this girl wearing a hoodie again. And making a hoodie is actually pretty easy too. Like, it's about to come together in one moment. First we'll get rid of that. And we'll just delete that ring. Delete that ring. E, C. So I press C and it goes at the middle. Alright, there's something, maybe I'm using it on the wrong side. No, I'm using it on the right side. Just get out, I'll solve you later. Alright, this looks like the mask of Zetsu. Alright, these three will merge at the center. We'll merge those three at the center. Repeat. 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 And where else is it pretty heavy? So, right here, we will just clean this area up a little bit. I don't worry too much about the tries that I see because I know I can go in and solve them later. And on top of that, usually I decide on tries according to how the model is affected by it. But the main purpose I find in triangles is to terminate edge loops. Edge loops I don't want to go on. Alright, she's still looking like she is gonna lelouch someone. I am zero. Just kidding. I mean, if anyone asks why I did this video, just know I did it all for Nunnally's sake. Which is another reference of the anime. You know what might make all this look better? Selecting it and then choosing smooth. Just relax some of this geometry. Alright, so I have to raise the merge limit or else it's gonna just have this abomination of a crease in the middle. I still think it's glitching, so I'm gonna hurry up and finish these jeans and jacket and get the hell off of this program for a while and check into it. Alright, my hoodie is going to be a little more stylish, and that is going to be sticking out in front a little bit more than in the reference images I'm looking at here. Because I'm not really referencing the hoodie as much as I am checking its shape and components just to make sure that everything I put on mine is what you would expect to see on a hoodie. Fill these with quads. Alright, so now this part here is a little out of line. This part can't be helped. This part too cannot be helped. We turn on snapping, project. Looks real bad. Bad idea. And so with the edge slide, you can also snap it to which edge you want it to slide up, which is great. It's definitely gotten a lot better on the edge sliding. Not that it was bad before, it's just it was tedious pressing W and then going to it. In fact, something I haven't done in a while is rotate a quad. Alright, for her, we'll hide her body and see what she looks like with the hoodie. It's kind of big. It's more like a poncho. Alright, looks like we're going over the 1 hour mark. I'm telling you, don't y'all miss these being time lapses?